What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering, and Elon Musk. Remember when I said, remember when I said that Elon was going to try and reduce the size of the company by many thousands more, but he was going to do it in a different way? Well, that just happened, and it happened a lot quicker than I expected. I mean, I thought it would be this year yet, but it's been like 2 weeks. He sent an ultimatum email last night that essentially could have everyone in the company quit. It's possible. Forcing them essentially to agree to working hardcore hours forever. And this is what I expected out of him. He probably believes that it would take less than 1,000 people to run Twitter. And he's probably right, honestly. And the fact that they were at 7,500 plus 4,000 contractors, the fact that they were at 11,000 employees, and now they've cut 3,000 of the contractors and 4,000 of the internal employees, that's 7,000 people less working at Twitter. And I cannot honestly tell you if the experience is any different whatsoever at all to me. It just doesn't seem like it's that different. And last night, he sent yet another email that is, I'm assuming, designed to weed out more people, weed out more weak people. By the way, heading into I'm not going to try to sell you anything, but on coffeebrandcoffee.com, if you've bought from me in the past, if you can, I would absolutely love if you took a picture and left a review. Maybe I'll do some sort of giveaway for people that have left reviews. But I'd like to get this up to over 3,000 reviews. I mean, no, we have tens of thousands of sales. I think close to 100. No, yeah, close to 100,000 sales. I think we're getting close. But definitely, please do leave your review. We have, if you bought the coffee, tea, or cocoa, I mean, obviously, and read some too, because we're crushing it. Promo code The Quartering will save you today. I'd absolutely love if you tried it out. Elon Musk gives Twitter staff an ultimatum: work long hours at high intensity or leave. Staffers have a deadline of today, or a Thursday deadline, to agree or be fired. New Twitter Inc. boss Elon Musk told employees in an email that they must decide whether they want to stay and work long hours at high intensity or take a severance package. An ultimatum comes after he already laid off roughly half of the social media company's workforce earlier this month. I mean, he's at an immense advantage right now. Unless everybody working at Twitter is absolutely banking cash, at some point, people are going to have to say, I need this job. We've seen like a handful of these like entitled brats go on Twitter and say, oh, ha, 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 I don't care, I quit my job. And they're probably fine financially. And that's cool. Like, you can quit your job. It's not that big a deal. I mean, if my company was bought by somebody I absolutely hated to my core, I'd probably find some other job too. I'd probably find another job first before I loud quit on Twitter by trying to stick it to my boss. But also, I'm not a complete moron like some of these people. But Elon absolutely wants to get rid of at least, I'm guessing, at least another 1,000 to 2,000 employees. I believe that strongly. I believe he's pushing hard to make it profitable in as quick amount of time as possible. And he also needs to weed out the dissent. A lot of people were talking about, like, oh, he's firing people for making fun of him, and that's not very free speechy of him. That's fair to say. However, he is firing people who are toxic coworkers. You can't have these people, who hate you and will undermine you and stuff like that on your team, especially when it's a small, lean, mean, and intense team. You just can't. So when these people are willing to publicly dissent against you, I think it's just better that they work for a different company. I don't think that anybody agrees that you shouldn't be able to, rag on your boss. That's like the American way. But you can't do it while you're on his platform while you're working for the guy. So He wrote, going forward, we will build a breakthrough Twitter 2.0 and succeed in an increasingly competitive world. Oh, I was going to mention the people, Amazon just laid off 10,000 people. I'm not sure at what part of their company is, but Stripe's laid off people, Patreon's laid off people, Facebook laid off 11,000 people. There has been a massive layoff. I think it was Paramount just laid off people today. So it's like maybe at some point you start looking around and you go, maybe I want to keep this job. Going forward, we'll build a breakthrough Twitter 2.0 and succeed in an increasingly competitive world. We will need to be extremely hardcore, Mr. Musk wrote in an email overnight. This means working long hours at high intensity. Only exceptional performance will constitute a passing grade. The email comes after Mr. Musk sent employees a memo seen by the Journal that warned of dire economic challenges facing the company, in which he said bankruptcy is a real possibility. Also last week, the company's first all-hands meeting since Mr. Musk's late October takeover, the billionaire talked about ending remote work for most Twitter employees, saying they need to come into the office if they were able. Well, I mean, ultimately, that's what he wants. That's what he needs. He needs to get the hardcore people who can get things done. What's happening is he walked in and he walked into what appears to be an adult daycare, a place that was spending $400, $400 per meal. They were giving their employees free wine and free boba teas or whatever they were called, or, and like letting everybody sit at home. That's why Twitter got stagnant. It's not that people who, work from home are inherently less productive. In fact, there are studies that show people work longer and harder when they work from home because they don't get away from their desk. But when you combine that with the daycare mentality that so many of these Silicon Valley companies have, it's a recipe for disaster. The actual letter, for example, is brutal. So here is, I want to see the letter. I have the letter somewhere. Where is it? Where are you, letter? Okay, here it is. And again, I cannot emphasize enough that Twitter has fired 7,000 of their 11,000 employees, and everything seems totally fine. Here's the letter as posted by The Street. A fork in the road. Going forward, to build a breakthrough Twitter 2.0 and succeed in an increasingly competitive world, we will need to be extremely hardcore. This means working long hours at high intensity. Only exceptional performance will constitute passing grade. Twitter will also be much more engineering driven. Design and product management will still be very important and report to me, but those writing great code will constitute the majority of our team and have the greatest sway. At its heart, Twitter is a software and servers company. So I think this makes sense. I mean, he's right. So what he's saying here now is essentially like, all this fluff, all the ethics community, the ethics department, and this and that, and all this stuff, you're gone. I don't need you. We sell software and servers, essentially. Well, that's our product. And then what's funny is it goes, if you are sure that you want to be a part of new Twitter, please click yes in the link below. Like, you literally have to click a form and say, yes, I'd like to not get fired, please. Below that, it writes, anyone who has not done so by 5 p.m. tomorrow will receive 3 months severance. Whichever decision you make, thank you for your efforts to make Twitter successful, Elon. Ooh. Yikes. I mean, he has stuff though, like, of course, engineering is important, but for social media / ad platform like Twitter, which is under stringent legal pressures, international user safety, legal compliance, and content moderation, and advertising are actually key for the platform to legally and financially work. And then say, yep, Twitter's challenges are not engineering ones. As a product person, if I saw this, I know I wouldn't be supported. I'd show myself the door. Sure you would. Sure you would. Again, 3 month severance is pretty good. But what I'm saying is also that this is all by design. This is Elon Musk saying, okay, if I missed you on the first cut, now it's time to really clean house. Now I really want to get down to the core top 10, 20%. Now, I do agree with some of these comments. Like, I don't necessarily think that Twitter is only engineering. They need to sell ads, obviously. They need to make sure that they are doing whatever's legally required in terms of moderation, although the old Twitter didn't really do that very well. They need lawyers, they need, translators, there's a lot of people that work at Twitter that probably still need to work at Twitter. I'm not sure I would love seeing, like, as a non-coder, seeing like, all I care about is code, but he's probably not wrong. There's a lot of bureaucracy in running this software that Elon may be overlooking right now. But what I really think, this is him trimming fat, and so he can really get down to a lean, nimble team, and then he can make some announcements about, Twitter's profitable now, and then save the Tesla stock. This has been an albatross on the neck of Twitter, which was down 3 points today, or 3% today again, because people who are invested in Tesla are worried. Now, he said today that he's going to find somebody else to lead the company, which, obviously that makes sense. He can't be there forever, but I'm sure that he just spent $50 billion with the B dollars. He's probably going to want to, stay there for a little while and right the ship. So it'll be interesting to see how this all shakes out. I'm sure there'll be more Twitter stories later today. If you haven't yet, please do click that red subscribe button down below, and we'll talk to you again real soon.